everybody, it's referee Ben Robbins here for the Aces and Eights Beer Club, and welcome back. This is my follow-up video from the Sting and Jeff Hardy incident, and I don't know, I sound so out of breath. I've not been doing anything, I've just been sitting here, so yeah, I always do my follow-up video, but before I do, I just want to say that I was meant to be on a double showcase today for Kapow and SWF Wrestling. My car had other ideas of its own, and we broke down 20 minutes into the journey. The gearbox went and we had to get towed. We didn't get towed home in the end. We thought we were going to get towed, but the gentleman who fixed the car, he managed to make his own part for the car out of some odds and ends and get the gearbox working temporarily so we could drive it home. Otherwise we'd have to wait until late this afternoon for a flatbed to come get us. So, you know, some people are just so skilled at what they do and very old school. Like, he was a very old school mechanic, so yeah, truly grateful we had him turn up. And yeah, the way he fixed it was just insane. Like, me and Will, one of the promoters for the promoter for Kapow and SWF, we were going up together. He had a match today. I was meant to referee. Luckily, there's people there. There was other people there who could referee, and someone else was to replace him in his match, and the show could continue. Yeah, and so yeah, but obviously I wish I could have been there, everyone. But anyway, I just wanted to shout out to Kapow and SWF. Follow them on their social medias if you can do, please. And yeah, come see a show. Also, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe right now. Do it. Just subscribe. Help me get my numbers up. I'd really appreciate that. But yeah, this video, it's going to be my follow-up video to the Sting and Jeff incident. I want to break down what I learnt about the match, before and after, and in between, as well as people's points of views and opinions who are involved, obviously then and now. And yeah, I want to have another look at it as a referee. So let's look at the start of the match. Backstage, Jeff had obviously been, he was nowhere to be seen backstage, but he had been seen and spotted a few times. The times he was okay. There were some little noticeable differences in his behaviour, but it wasn't anything people were flagging or alarmed about. It sounds like the hour before the match is when Jeff possibly did some more substance, or they started to kick him. So this point, this hour window from his music starting and back then is when things changed for Jeff. You know, so obviously Sting did eventually see him, Matt did see him, others did see him, and like I said, it was this window period when things changed. So everyone's backstage. At the back of the entrance, they're waiting to come out. You've got Sting, you've got Eric Bischoff, producers. Obviously, Jeff is now brought to the backstage entrance, but he's now being carried by two gentlemen while his feet are being dragged on the floor and he is put down. This is when they all know there's a problem with Jeff. You know, he's in this state of a condition. You know, can he still go out and perform? Should he still go out and perform? Again, I said in my first video, why didn't they just get another talent, someone else backstage, fob Jeff off, send someone else out, call it on the fly? What I learnt about TNA wrestling back then, it's different to filming back then than it was with WWE. So like WWE, they all turn up, you've got your call time, they're all there backstage, they have their matches, they film, they all go off at the ends to the next venue, next show. TNA was obviously in one spot all the time. So wrestlers only had to turn up for when they were needed. You would turn up, film your backstage, film your match, and then you could go. If you had other shows to go to, flights to catch, Comic-Cons to do, you could just go. You know, you could hang around, chat to people, but that was it really. There wasn't any of this, you had to stay to the end. They just didn't need you there. So yeah, that option clearly wasn't right. It wasn't there. Matt Hardy was backstage at the time. Matt Hardy's done an interview and a talk about this. He's a bit puzzled. You know, it's not exactly clear how Jeff started making his way to the ring. So from what I learned was, while they're all discussing what to do and figuring out what to do, Jeff has stood up and walked out. He's gone up the steps and started making his entrance to his music. You know, if Jeff's in that kind of state and you've had to put him in a chair because he can't walk, you know, is someone not sitting with him? Someone not keeping an eye on him? The fact that he's got up and wandered out, you know, I don't think, this little moment, I don't think we'll always know the truth or know the exact minute by minute play up whatever happened there, but this is the most common story I've heard. For he just got up and wandered out there, and from what Matt Hardy said, that doesn't sit quite right with him a little bit. It was an oldish interview I saw with Matt, so yeah, that could all change now. Sting was noticeably upset, but it wasn't this kind of, what are we going to do? He's kicking off, he's throwing it. It was like, obviously, he's upset and angry inside, he's annoyed, he's let down, disappointed, but I think the professional side of him's kicked in as well now. He's like, what are we going to do with this situation? How can we play this out? Obviously, they're discussing, figuring out ways to do. Jeff's halfway to the ring. He's stumbling into the ring. Luckily, Brian Hebner was the referee. Again, got big shouts to Brian Hebner, man. He did fantastic. The fact he throws the X up during the entrance, he knows something's going on. He's getting stuff in his earpiece. He obviously initially you can hear so much in the earpieces, and you can, I don't know if here's one he can talk back to them, or he's just hearing what they're saying and just taking it in. So that's another thing. But again, with Brian Hebner, I saw on his talks and interviews and podcasts about this incident. Again, he was very forgiving. At the time, there was more disappointment and frustration with everyone. I think Jeff was on this downward spiral. He had this substance abuse problem, which everyone knows. I think this was a real problem. It was their friend, not just their work colleague. It was more of a worrying concern for his health and his well-being, and it was just disappointing and sad to see your friend get to that point. A lot of them have said how it was a big turning point for him, and it made him really start to turn his life around. So it was a blessing. But the overall, it was just sad and disappointment. I don't think there was a lot of anger or upset. There was nothing real aggressive about it. But it was just a disappointment. But anyway, so obviously Sting makes his entrance, which is brilliant, because by Sting making an entrance, it's buying them more time to start relaying messages and start talking and figuring out. Sting gets in the ring after making an entrance. There's visible talks going back and forth. But another thing that people have really praised is Eric Bischoff. Okay, you need to understand this. Eric Bischoff coming out and cutting that promo. He was out there 2 to 3 minutes maybe. That's 2 to 3 more minutes of time it's brought for them to start really figuring out a new game plan, putting that game plan in place, and that is the final say. There's no Sting locking up. What are we going to do, Jeff? Are you okay, Jeff? What are we going to figure out? There's none of this. The ref trying to put it. Was Eric come out, he cut this promo, and he goes up to Jeff while talking and drops the mic, and he's saying stuff to him. And there's other angles and video footage of this, and you can hear Eric saying to Sting and saying to Jeff, take the finisher, take the pin, let's get out of here, let's get home. You can hear that. You can hear this one very clearly with Jeff. He's obviously got to raise his voice a bit for Jeff to hear him. But again, he goes over to Sting, shake my hand, Sting, like blah blah. Drops the mic, tells him what he wants to do him. Obviously, the match begins. So, referee knows the first pin that happens, he knows this has got to be a 3 count. It doesn't matter how big of a kick out Jeff does. This has got to be a 3 count no matter what. It's just got to be over. I think, obviously, Sting and Jeff do lock up a little bit. They do have a little bit of a scuffle. I think that was kind of Sting hoping he could get Jeff into some sort of move or lock to do the takedown and get the pin, to salvage it just a tiny bit. Because then, obviously, Sting just does the finish up, and it's just a 1, 2, 3. Jeff does kick out. Ref calls it, rings the bell, and that's it, it's done. Another thing that I learned is that after the match, Jeff just disappeared. Jeff wanders backstage and he's just gone. From what multiple people who work backstage and talent and wrestlers, they've all said that Jeff just wasn't around or contactable for like 2 to 3 weeks. Once they did get hold of him, that's when they put in place the suspension and time off. But yeah, the overall feeling from everyone, it's their friend, not just a work colleague. When you work in this industry, you are brothers and sisters. You are very close. I've got people I work with. I call them my brothers and sisters. That's how we do it. And you don't want to see any of them hurt or in any kind of situation in the ring. The situation they were in, they did the best they could. I had someone comment comment to me in a message saying that they would have just cut all the lights, cut the power, told over the speaker system, there's been a power incident, show's now cancelled, we'll do tickets for the following week or something. But yeah, you can't. I mean, everyone handles situations differently. You've got time to think of that. If Jeff's just wandered out to the ring, it's go time. Yeah, so overall, I think with everyone, when you watch a video like this, you have got to be a bit more forgiving, a bit more understanding. There were other powers at play. They did the best they could. Everyone was professional. No one got hurt. That's the main thing. Everyone got to go home. It is sad to see, but it's a learning curve for everyone. And even fans and wrestlers and everyone who watches it, it's a learning experience. You might yourself, you could be a DJ. You could work in the wrestling industry. You could work in theatre. You could work in a coffee shop. I promise you this, all of you. You might do a little bit of whatever before you go to work or you perform. You are not doing how great you think you are doing when you do these things. I am telling you now. I was a DJ for years. I did loads of shows, clubs, events. I saw so many DJs do so much stuff before their sets, and they were out there thinking they were killing it. Their mixing was on point, and they were horrendous. So always, even if you work in a coffee shop, you might think you're having the time of your life. Everyone's vibing with you. You're making coffees. Customers love you. Everyone can see there's more to it. Everyone's thinking, especially this day and age. God, yeah. So just always do things straight edge. Like I've never been in the ring under the influence of anything. I've always been straight edge with everything. Because like in a situation like the Sting and Jeff, you'd need that third person. Sting needed that backup. Now, potentially Eric Bischoff might not come out there. They might have all been down to Brian Hebner to be like, do you know what, Sting? Just finish it and I'll count the 3 count. I'm not happy. I can't stop the match. They've said in the ear just to roll with it. Let's, me and you, figure this out ourselves, and that's it. So yeah, always try to do everything that you can, completely sober and straight. Especially if you're in this business. I've been in the ring before with people, and they've been up to no good, and they've asked me, afterwards, how did it look? And it's terrible. I could tell that you weren't doing this, or you didn't do that, or you forgot this spot, and you can just tell when something's not right. And I've seen their opponents be upset with them as well about it. So there's a time and a place for stuff, what I'm saying. But as well as I fully understand people struggle, people do have problems. And before it gets too serious, or it might be serious for you right now, just text someone. Send a text message to someone asking for a bit of help, a bit of advice, or call someone. Go see your mum or dad or a brother or sister. Go see a friend. Go see your boss. And just tell them straight. You're more likely to keep a job in life and keep a gig in life and keep friends and family if you just talk to them and let them know what you're going through and what you're dealing with, than letting it all come to some big abrupt finish or ending where it could all go even more wrong or someone could get hurt. Yeah, so overall, the whole Jeff Sting incident, I think, just everyone should be more forgiving. It's a learning thing, and I've seen comments on the videos of people's ones, and some people are just going to town on it. Thankfully, not all of us have been in these situations. I don't understand what it's like. Some people do. And that's why sometimes in these situations it's best just to sit back and learn and watch. You can have your say still, but it doesn't mean you've got to be horrible about it and slag people off or start arguments with people in comment sections about it. I've seen some really horrible stuff in these comment sections on this video. And I think that's another thing. Start treating each other a bit better, a bit more respect. And as soon as you do, you'll start having a better life with people, and you'll start enjoying wrestling. The wrestling community is a bit more better. But yeah, so yeah, that's it really. That's my little follow-up video to it. I wanted to say that's what I discovered from watching it. you know, my initial thoughts were, oh my god, like I had all these ideas and theories and what you could have done, but when you really sit back and look at it and you put yourself in their shoes in that situation, you know, they handled it extremely well, extremely professionally. They're all still friends. No one got hurt, and they've still got love for each other, and they still see each other, and you know, it's just it's good. So yeah, it's one of those unfortunate incidences. Obviously, it's, you know, a blessing in disguise. But yeah, so but that's it for me. That was my little follow-up video on it. I hope you enjoyed it. And my next little video, I'm going to go into some WCW because I saw a match the other day and I thought, oh, you know what, this would be really good because it's real classic WCW as well. And yeah, it's a really cool little video, and it's typical WCW. And I want to break this down because I'm not going to spoil it, but I'm really looking forward to breaking this one down because you don't see it happen very much. And the last time it did sort of happen, like the next day on social media, everyone was going crazy, and I loved it because it was pure WCW on WWE. So yeah, my next video is going to be a really cool one. I hope it blows up the comment section a little bit. Again, with my comment sections, I want people to having discussions and sharing opinions and thoughts and just respect and loving each other. So yeah, I'll see you in the next video, and make sure you subscribe. Subscribe right now.